to do this. So apologies for all of this. The actual idea was for us to have an interactive session so you can guys kind of see almost on how it works. And actually, believe me or not, I have an amazing connection with Sarah, and I think that comes across really, really strong forward when we're actually doing. That's why we want to do something interactive, but just to go straight forward. To what she said about relationships and about my passion about relationships and the actual transformation that I went through on the seminar. I must say how it all started was when I was a little girl, that I was always fascinated, almost like incredibly interested in the dynamic between people. And I remember observing my mom and my dad and their relationship. And I remember observing it. I was like, but this is great, but it feels like something is kind of missing there. It's like something was like not fully complete in a sense. And I also remember and recall now that when I was a little girl, I used to have this, I used to actually talk to myself and even write. And I have this diary since I was, I don't know how old. So I always remember talking to something inside of me, if you wish, or something that was out there. I always remember, and I wasn't religious, we weren't going to church and things like that, not more than any, like just for like Easter and stuff like that. But I always remember speaking and having a connection with something deeper within me. And when I grew up older and I was mature enough to have my own relationship, I mean, it was great being with someone, but it was still something missing, to the point where I actually felt like I'm not gonna bother with it. I actually felt like I wasn't really so blown away. I wasn't even sure what people were all going on about, like relationships in that sense. Why would you want to be with someone and still not feel 100% like you are like empowered or yourself? And I remember there was a period of my life where I actually didn't even bother with relationships for quite a while after I first experienced, let's say, my first relationship. And not until maybe I was 21 or 22, I actually had a proper boyfriend for a while then after that. But still, I always felt like there was something missing. And here is how it went. I was forever. Oh, can you invite me and see if this works? I'm gonna invite Sarah now. Request to be in a broadcast. Allow viewers to send a request. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can invite Sarah. Where is she? Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem. I can see other participants, but I can't see you, Sarah, for some reason. Let's just see. Yeah, maybe because you're the admin as well. Okay, anyway, we'll just continue that way. So, yeah, so I kind of like felt like there's maybe an area where maybe I wasn't very good at, if you wish, like I was missing something, or I was like, yeah, I just didn't understand what people were going on about. Of course, it's so amazing to spend your time with someone and to be in the company of someone when they wasn't fulfilled, or that like what I was even looking for, if you wish. So I decided not to bother about it. I kind of avoided relationships pretty well. Like, I mean, long-term relationships. And yet my fascination with that area never really left, if you wish. Because I work in the beauty industry, and very often I'd speak to clients who actually have successful relationships, and I'll be fascinated. I'll be asking them questions, and I'll be like, and how did you guys meet, and what happened then, and then how is your dynamic now? And I was just really, really interested in how people work together. But most of all, let's say, and what I'm going to speak about today is actually that I realized when I went to the seminar that everything that I was looking for outside of myself was actually what I was looking for to find from within, from inside. And it occurred to me that this is how people go into relationships, and it occurred to me that no wonder why probably relationships is the biggest thing that people struggle with these days. You know, people struggle with actually being themselves because they don't know that self. And this is how we're coming up to the actual most important point, what I actually understood being on the seminar, that Sarah spoke to it perfectly in the interview that she had with the magazine, with the Positive Living magazine. So if any of you want to see more about that, I'm not going to cover too much of it, but Sarah has made a sensational video on actually what is within us and how to live from it and uncover it and the essence of it. But ultimately, I understand this about relationships in general, that the correct relationship can actually save the world, like literally change the world. And I'm not the first person saying it, I know, but I'm going to explain to you why I think and I feel and I see it that way. That, let's say, for example, we're going to start with the most important relationship of all, and that is the relationship with the self. Okay, just to put it very, very, very easy to understand, that self, it is inside of you always, and you are born with it. That self is a piece of what is out there. Let's say people perceive it as the power, people perceive it as the universe, people perceive it as the energy, as the, you know, as the life force. In martial arts, it is called ki, chi. There is so many names for it. Yet, people are actually not aware that they actually have this. People are not aware that something within themselves is actually much more powerful than what they actually are aware of or what they have known. And I know a lot of people talk about self-realization. Well, to me, the purpose of relationship, any relationship, is self-realization. And what does that mean? That means just the realizing of the self, of realizing of who you truly are. And I know I have spoken a few times in a few previous videos, but people are brought up in a society that does not in any way support that self. In fact, it is made for you to I can see that. Okay, people are actually depressing. The society is made to depress that self. And let's say you're born, you're young, you're still running from that self. That's why actually children are so much more naturally intuitive into their own life force, and they very often feel like they're playing and they're doing something, and they never feel alone because they're actually deeply connected to that. This is exactly what I recalled as a childhood, as my own personal childhood. I could never feel that I was alone. I just couldn't get the adults. Why were they so unhappy? Why were they so arguing? Or I just couldn't get it. I was playing, I was talking to myself, I was aware I was talking to something, you know, I had this deepest connection. I was actually talking to it all the time. And, you know, I never felt alone, I never felt scared, I just felt really, really happy. But then when I grew up, something started changing. And this has appeared in every single one's life. I started changing. I started almost not having that relationship. I started questioning it. I said, oh no, I asked for this and this didn't happen. Then you start questioning whether there is actually something else out there. You know, and when I was a child, I used to call it God. But you know, people call it in many different ways. People call it the power, people call it the universe, people call it the ki, the chi, the energy, the life force, and anything else. But every single child carries that until they actually start growing up, and until they start picking almost programs on top of that life force. Programs like, you know, don't be yourself, don't do this, don't do that, don't speak in that manner, don't be so expressive. Or even like education can obviously very often cram in lots of information on top of that child, and that child then starts struggling. And I mean, very frankly and honestly, from my own personal experience, by the age of 25 or 26 or even 30, that life force is completely covered over, because as I said, society is not built up to actually bring that out furthermore. And the actual purpose of life is to be born with this life force. That's to my understanding now, to be born with that life force, and then the educators to draw it out more and more and more, and even your parents to draw it out more. However, as I said, we're not living in society that is allowing us to know this, and we're not living in society that is actually supporting that yet. That's for now. But I do believe that people are understanding more and more that there's something wrong going on out there, and that something wrong is actually starting within our own beliefs, within our own selves. So I believe every single person can start their own journey into self-realization. But as I said, the number one relationship starts within your own self. And when I went on the seminar, the first seminar, which was 2016, I believe, everything made sense. Everything that I was searching for, goodness me, trust me, I searched for it. Goodness, no, there was a period of my life, about 10 years, where I actually really went into, like, even reading books. I started picking up books about the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind and how this works, how that works. And I started slowly moving forward into the development that lots of people find themselves now, you know. Then I went into personal therapy for over 6 years. I did seminars after seminars, and I'm so grateful for all of my teachers, because honestly, we are so privileged now to actually have so much available out there to actually see what appeals to you and then move you forward. So I kind of stayed with whatever appealed to me, whatever caught my attention, to the point where I couldn't dismiss it. And that led me to the seminar. So as I said, I had a very intensive period of my life when I was really doing a lot of work on finding something, because every time I went on a seminar, or every time I went to a therapy session or something, I'd have a glimpses of like feeling this power, feeling really happy. This rush of energy was all over me, and that was the glimpses that kept me going. I was like, okay, I want more. It's almost like I became addicted to, I want more. And somehow, as I said, at one point I was like, oh my God, am I getting addicted to this? Or is it really like, is this how it's meant to be, kind of thing? I started questioning myself, especially in the last 3 years, or 3 or 4 years of my life, actually were extremely intense in actually work. All I was doing, I was working, and I was doing seminars, and you know, that's how it was. But it would give me glimpses of something greater. It will give me glimpses of something like, oh my God, I'd feel invincible for 2 or 3 days, and I'll be like, oh, you know, it was so amazing. And then all of a sudden I'll go back. But it didn't matter, because I knew that there was something else more than to me. I knew that I was more than just what I've learned of myself to be throughout my life, if you wish. And I knew there was so much more to life. So I kept going. And as I said, one day, just like this, I was actually on another seminar, and a person that I met there said, look, there is something to you. I need to talk to you about something. What about you come to a presentation? And I came to a EDUCO presentation, and that was it. I just couldn't not go. Like, it's like life inside of me was turning upside down, and I had to kind of pass by all my fears. I had, goodness me, God no, and that's quite a few years ago, and I've had some kind of things that would have stopped me, but I couldn't, because that life inside of me was so powerful, so strong, that I felt like I need to go. Anyway, so I went on the seminar, and I learned and understood why. So what happens is Dr. Tony Quinn has taught me how to pay unconscious attention. And unconscious attention is the attention of your unconscious mind, like Sarah perfectly described it. That unconscious mind is the greater mind of us. We have a small conscious mind. I always see it around my head. That's the small conscious mind, which is about 5%. And there is a 95% of you, which is the unconscious mind. And the power lays in the unconscious mind. And once you're able to actually access that unconscious mind and relax your conscious mind, and that happens through learning how to do unconscious attention, then you start really truly experiencing yourself. And I remember I was sitting on the seminar, and that was quite a few years ago, my first seminar, and I was sitting on the seminar and I could feel something was happening. I could feel this release of energy that was happening, like my body started shaking. I had goosebumps, and I was like, but I'm not really cold, and my body was slightly like shivering almost, and I could feel this rush of energy that was happening. For the first time in my life, I felt it so strong. Oh my God. And that was it. That did it to me, because then after that was just a journey of deepening that self, of deepening that connection with the self. And that's what I'm talking about today. Power relationships. I'm talking about not the relationships that you would know that are out there, like who is going to pay the mortgage type of relationships. I'm talking about power relationships, because power relationships is the way forward. Power relationships will be, if you are able to connect with your own power, say for example like I am, then you will understand that, number one, you will operate as a different person. Because what happens is when you unleash that power within, I'm talking real sense, not just what people actually talk. When you go on a seminar and Dr. Tony Quinn teaches you how to pay unconscious attention, and that is the key. That's what everybody is missing in relationships. They just don't know how to be with each other, because they're with each other's minds. People are with each other's thoughts, or the projections of what they think of that other person is. They're not with the true selves. But once you come in contact with your own person self, with your own power, and you're able to unleash it, it will change you in a way that you never imagined that you can operate as a human beings. And I know I see Joanna there online, and I remember she contacted me after one of the videos I uploaded, and she said, you know, it's so empowering what comes through. Yeah, it's empowering, because when that power comes through you so fast, so strong, you become aware of who you are and what you're capable of. And also, you also start releasing anything that is not in alignment with that power. You literally, like, you know, when you talk about negative programs or negative things, I can stop my thought instantly, just at will, and I say no thoughts. It's like you becoming to a veil of this greater you. You know, most people operate on 5% of their capacity. That's really, really small. But what if you can tap into the 95% of your capacity? And then that 5% of your conscious mind you can just use as a tool to create and manifest the things you want in your life. But if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your own power, then how will you be able to connect to someone else? You will only be able to connect to someone else on a conscious level, which is only 5%. And no wonder why relationships out there are so shallow, and why people don't get very deeply satisfied. I mean, I know there are a few lucky people who actually have proper, good relationships, but you can even improve on those. You can improve on your physical relationships with someone, you know. If you start paying unconscious attention and be with that person, be with first with your own power, understand your own power, then you can start being with someone else on a completely different level, on a much deeper level, on a power to power basis. But how can you do that if you do not know your own power? And may I dare to say, people don't know themselves. People don't truly know who they are. I didn't know myself. I thought that anything that I wanted and I desired, by the way, although I was staying away from relationships. In my head, it was working like this. If I can only get to this other level on like clear my programs in about relationships, then I can meet the one. That's how, honestly, that's how my mind was working. I was doing all that conscious working on myself so I can meet the one. And you know that one? Who was that one? It's this one. I know people are searching and they're like, oh my God, if I only get better at this, then I will get that. If I only get better at this, then I ultimately know that everybody is searching for this, for the self, for your own true self. And Joanna says, yeah, that definitely resonates. Of course it will, because how can you honestly, how can you go out there to the world and in any way be able to actually connect to anybody if you haven't really experienced yourself? Oh my God, and may I dare say that when you experience that self, that's not the end of it. That keeps growing, and you start having totally different feelings. You start experiencing the feelings of the true self, which are the true feelings of happiness. You know, you can bring up happiness at will, you can bring up bliss at will. You understand what love is. Hey, it is not what people think it is. It's totally, deeply unconditional love that goes to everything and everyone and rejoins. And oh my God, people really are searching for love, but that love inside, oh my goodness me, it blows my mind every single time that I let it through. And it has unity, it has a perfect intelligence. So that power within you actually has a purpose and direction. And once you connect with that power and you start operating from it, you become, number one, a different person. So, you know, all the things that I was concerned with before are completely gone. You know, I adjusted my life in a way to suit that power. I mean, just in a way that power can also, you can refer to it as your soul. Like everyone talks about the soul. Everyone wants to connect with the soul. But like, very honestly and very frankly, most of people, when I was there myself, people actually abuse their soul. They go against of what it wants and what it's directing you to do. But how will you know for sure that you're doing that? Well, you wouldn't, because you would know only when you actually are more connected to it and deeper connected through unconscious attention. As I said, you have to learn unconscious attention. That's number one. It tells you things. It tells you actually who to meet. It tells you what to eat. It tells you what to even think. In order for you to be in alignment with itself. And why would you want to be in alignment with itself? Well, because if you're not, you're just not happy. You know, when you're not aligned with your soul, with your own power, however you want to call it, with your essence, with your life force, with your ki, with your chi, with your kundalini, however, every single area has itself. If you're not aligned with that power, then you don't actually know yourself. You wouldn't be able to experience life to what it actually is meant to be experienced as. And you will only live in a very shallow way, which very often I find is not very satisfactory to people, including myself. People live in a very shallow space of actually existence, and that is only on conscious level. So you'll be able to connect to people only through your thoughts and through the things you already know. And you know, I know every single person has had glimpses of actually experiencing their own power, and perhaps that's what's keeping you on the journey. For a fast track way, the seminar in July that I went this last year was the actual huge difference, because it stepped even further into actually knowing that power within myself even more, because then I became a true nature. And the true nature is really literally living from that place of your power, being guided by it, and do everything in alignment with it, you know. It has got its own purpose. If you want, you know, people looking for their path, you cannot know your path unless you actually connect to that power, because that power will direct you. You cannot walk your path through your thoughts. You cannot be in any way connected to someone in a deeper level, or love someone in a deeper level, or even understand someone on a deeper level, if you're not connected to that power. So that's why the relationship number one is that relationship with the power. And that is the relationship that changes everything, changes you as a person, changes you how you operate. I mean, and it stops you doing the things that were not good for you. Like, for example, I used to drink alcohol. Like, I'd love my glass of champagne, but every morning that I woke up, oh my god, did I not feel good. I hated it. I was like, goodness me, why did I do that to myself? Yet I couldn't stop. It was because I didn't have that. I think the more aligned you are with your power, the more you can't go against it of what your actual existence wants. And so I have to say, even before the seminar in June, I stopped drinking in June, and I haven't really even looked back. I cannot even imagine having a drink. I don't even remember what it feels like, and I actually wouldn't remember why I would need a drink, because most of the time what people do is try to escape their thoughts, try to escape all that mental clutter, all the programs that you're actually running on that are not good for you, that are not making you happy, and that are not in alignment with that power. So you would drink, or you will look elsewhere for whatever, you know. People are trying to get their minds off with anything, with the internet, even dating. I mean, oh my god, it is so not how it's supposed to be. I mean, I'm really, really sorry to say that, but it is not meant to be that way. We are not meant to live the way how people are living at the moment. I can only say that because I'm on the other side. However, it is so much more fun when you have people who are on true nature level, and you actually get to really experience power relationships. And I'm very proud to say that I live with one of those people. I mean, my very, very lovely friend Angie, we live together, and we actually moved in together after the seminar in July, because when you are uncovered that power, the only thing you want is actually more power, in the sense of experiencing life for what it is, not that low level of consciousness that people are experiencing. Of course people won't be happy, of course there will be wars and things like that, because people are just not happy. When you're living from your true nature, from your true power, and you keep being guided by it, honestly, how can you be bad to someone if you really know who this person is and what their essence is? Because once you become in touch with that life force within you, then you know that this person next to you, or this person on the street, also have this perfection inside them. Yeah, maybe they haven't uncovered it for sure, for 100%, but they have the capacity and the possibility of being that, an incredible human being who cannot think a bad thought of anyone, who cannot hate, who cannot judge, who cannot have opinions. And honestly, all of these things are created by society anyway. All of the opinions, all of these things are actually suppressing your life force. I will invite you to even think about it like that. When you are judging something, when you're having opinion about something or someone, are you actually feeling happy? I'm sure that you wouldn't. Or if you resent someone for something, are you feeling happy? Because honestly, these are not feelings. These are not real feelings. They are actually emotions, and emotions and feelings are very, very different. I mean, I can cover that another time. As I was asked actually yesterday by someone I was chatting to, he goes, he asked me what's the difference between emotions and feelings. Feelings are the true feelings of the soul, of your life force, of your power, and those feelings are perfection. They don't divide, unity, absolute unconditional love, and and the, you know, the rest is just emotions. Anyway, so I can keep chatting until tomorrow. I'm so sorry, guys. We couldn't really actually do what we wanted to do, but in the future, me and Sarah will work the way, and we will actually have it interactive, because it's even more interesting. It's even more nicer, and you guys see how we kind of bounce off each other. But as I said, I can keep talking until I think I can feel Angie moving around me. Let's have a look. Sarah wants you to know that she... Okay, good. Sarah wants... Thank you, Angie. Sarah wants to... So tomorrow, to announce that she will do the interview with the two of you tomorrow morning Zoom. Okay, on Facebook. She will say this. Okay, no problem. That's even perfect. So Sarah's gonna do another one tomorrow on Zoom and via Facebook. So we've worked all of it out. So you get extra, whatever comes through tomorrow. But guys, honestly, I highly recommend you to step into your power, to connect with that power within yourself, to connect and really truly get to experience yourself, and not only experience yourself, but live from the self, because that self inside of you, if you want to call it the greater mind, the unconscious mind, and I call myself the true nature, because I'm living from the true nature of that self. I do highly advise that people get in truly touch with that self, and then live from it, because experience of life is totally different. You will know your path, you will know yourself, and you will be able to truly connect to someone else. And it's incredible, absolutely amazing. It is the best thing that I've ever done. And I since doing the seminar, since learning how to pay unconscious attention, how to live from the self, since actually learning who I truly am, I mean, I have to say it's been nearly a year, but that year went into like, oh my god, sensational, absolutely sensational. And it went, oh my god, literally I don't remember, it feels like yesterday, but the experience, the quality of life that I've experienced since then has been extraordinary. Oh my god, I cannot recommend it higher. And that's why we're doing these live videos. Guys, honestly guys, I just wanna put it out there. If you want to know more about relationship, if you want to expand your actual knowledge and understand that there's actually much faster ways to getting where you want to be, because I believe every single person wants to know that they're actually much more to what they've experienced themselves to be so far. I'm truly sure that this is the case. So if that is truly the case for you, power relationships. The power is everything. Relationships actually have purpose. Relationships, the purpose of relationships is self-realization, realization of that self. And I'm gonna talk about it so much more in another time. As we said, we're gonna do a series. Me and Sarah are gonna do it properly tomorrow, as she says. So she will set it all up. We'll have the interview tomorrow morning via Zoom and Facebook. Okay? So I'll see you guys again. And again, I'm sorry about this. We will sort everything out. And she'll say relationship in action. Oh yes, there you go. You will see tomorrow. You will see relationship. No, honestly, you will see what happens when you get power relationship going. That's why we want you to do it interactive, because between me and Sarah, we have an incredible connection, incredible connection. We have no resistance to each other. That's a new word, resistance. Basically, any thoughts in between, and you will see what happens. Magic happens when two people living from true nature actually get together, and you'll see that tomorrow. Okay, guys, I love you. I leave you for now, and we'll speak tomorrow morning. Oh my God, she will set it all up. So wait for announcement on EDUCO World Facebook page. And yes. Lots of love for now, and remember, the level is everything.